Hello, I'm EX Toycat, and welcome back to episode 4 of my TU31 Let's Play. This is a Let's Play I started for the update that just came out about a month ago for Minecraft console, and which I've been having a lot of fun in, because so far I've built my house and I've explored the local area. And the big question as to what to do next is obviously on my mind right now, and if this was any other world, I'd recommend for most people just, go underground, get yourself some diamonds, get lapis, get all the underground resources you need. However, in this world, I'm going to skip straight to the next step, because I can do that off camera, and basically I wanted to move on to my second home, which sounds really ridiculous that I'm going to make a second home so soon off my first, but the truth is, if you've ever watched any other, updated adventures Let's Plays, you'll know there's two kind of modes I get into when I'm playing Minecraft. There's the, I want to build something lovely mode, whether it's a house, whether it's a castle, whether it's a, like a giant sugarcane farm, and then there's the, I want to destroy everything mode. I don't know why, me and Minecraft get this way. Sometimes I'm just like, I want to make a giant hole in the ground. Sometimes I'm like, I want to chop down every tree in a forest, or sometimes I just want to blow a lot of things up. And basically, so that I can get into one mood or the other, depending on what is needed for the situation, I'm going to have a house built for each of them. So this is my I want to build stuff house. As you can see, or at least in my opinion, it looks quite nice in my opinion, and if you look inside, it's kind of orderly. This house is going to be the opposite. It's going to be made out of the opposite, materials, so, I guess that'd be acacia wood and the worst stained glass, and I want to make it, over here, where you can see it's very hilly on the inside, there's a bunch of grass that I'm going to keep, and also it looks like there's a lake here too. So, we're going to have a very unique, very bad house, but it's going to be a good bad house, and hopefully you do enjoy today's video. If you do, please do like it and let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot, and let's know you do like this brand new Let's Play, but let's get straight into it, shall we? So let's start by talking about how we're going to make the opposite of that one. So I mentioned how I want to have the opposite color of wood, which is going to be orange, and I also want to have the opposite color of stained glass. So I think white stained glass is the best color. Some people disagree with me, but we need to have the worst color of stained glass for this one, because it might just work because it's so bad. And personally, I'm not sure I have a least favourite colour. So, actually, comments, let me know which you think is the worst favourite colour, and we'll work it out based on that. But for today, we'll just leave some stained glass holes, because I have some glass, but not all the dyes I need for it. And then we can work that out later. Anyway, yeah, let's start working on the house then, shall we? So, I want to make it the same dimensions, because the idea here is that there's going to be, an imaginary mirror placed, down there. You can see I've got it roughly placed diagonally apart, so that way, that when the good mirror looks into it, it sees the bad house, and when the bad house looks into it, it sees the good house. Obviously, houses can't look into mirrors, and they can't look at each other anyway, but you get the idea, maybe, potentially. Anyway, let's start working on the dimensions, which, like I mentioned, I happen to know that house is 10 blocks deep, 9 blocks tall, and 13 blocks wide. So this is 6 right here, which means that's 8, which means that's 10, and then we've got to go 13 blocks across, so should be quite easy. Also, I realized I could just place blocks. I didn't have to do that. But yeah, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we go 8, 9, 10, 11. And then also, yeah, we're in a lake. Isn't that wonderful? But yeah, like that, we've got 13. And boom. So it looks like we've only got about half a lake, actually, in our house. So it's not as bad as you guys thought. If you're like, Toy Cat, you can't have a lake in your house. Don't worry, it's just half a lake. I mean, admittedly, that's half a lake more than most people want in their houses, especially in real life. But still, living inside a lake, that's going to be quite a unique experience. How many of you have ever started a lake house? I'll give you a clue. It's at least I'd hope it's 0. And I think it actually will be a unique little experience. So I'm looking forward to the some of the challenges that come with it. It might be interesting. It might be terrible. It might be that. Anyway, while I actually do some of the building, I want to be talking about game theory in this episode, because if you don't know the Let's Play, I like to talk about something kind of non-Minecraft at the same time, because sometimes in Minecraft you're placing blocks and it's like, I'm just placing some blocks here, and in those times I like to talk about the stuff. But first, we need to get all the complex design done, because for the front of the house, I want to go for something almost entirely the opposite of that. So, like stairs the opposite way, for instance, if I do those. But the key thing I have to do before that is this kind of outdent indent thing. So I want to do the same kind of indent outdent with some windows thing, but I want with kind of like this bottom bar down here instead of in the middle. So also zombie with a shovel, isn't that lovely? But so yeah, this would be all orange here. Obviously, it goes into the mountains, so we'll just up the hill. So we'll just pretend it's not there, but still, same idea. Also kill the zombie, isn't that great? But yeah, so I guess we'll just ignore that for now, and we'll go for the layer behind it, which in this case is going to be. I guess we'll do the same thing there with the little bar. Like so. So again, we can make a bunch of acacia planks and make a bar like this, and then we'll have a window on top of it, and it'll be wonderful. Maybe. Potentially, anyway. So I guess we have to have this all destroyed now, and then we also need to place a door. So because my door on that house is dark, well, my house is dark oak with an acacia door, I think it'd only be fitting to make a dark oak door for my acacia house here. So I guess we need to go to a crafting table, or we could make one inside. We'll just go to our crafting table for now. And we need to make some dark oak doors, because fortunately I also have a bunch of dark oak wood for some reason. I can't remember why. There's clearly a reason. I mean, I chopped down a bunch of dark oak trees, but I never entirely worked out why. So I just have lots of that stuff lying around, and at some point in time, maybe I'll know. but maybe that's a while away from now. But yeah, either way, let's put the dark oak door on there, and let's work out, for now, we'll just leave the window frames blank, but we need to work out the size of the windows roughly, and I think what I'm going to do is have, instead of just a nice 3x3 window, is have Tetris block-shaped windows, because they fit in a 3x3 space, right? Except the long one and some of the other ones. So yeah, we have Tetris-shaped windows. So instead of a 3x3, we'll have a T-shaped one. Instead of, like a... Actually, I guess a 2x2 would be a square one. Darn it. Actually, there's also a kind of long one there. So I guess we're actually going to make a reasonably good-looking house. Because you got to remember in Minecraft, if you're trying to make something look bad, the worst build in the game, if you want to be boring about it, is technically just a single block placed there. So let me actually just show you in a second. So place this, make the Tetris block thing. The worst build in the game is this build right here. It's just a single block. You can't live on it, you can't craft on it, you can't sleep there. But I mean, it's not the worst build in the game, because where's the fun in that? So this is why we're making something that's actually arguably good and that you might look at, and you can't easily criticize. That's got to be the easy thing. Like, you should look at that house and be like, is this meant to be bad or not? I don't know if I should do that. And that's the goal. So it's a weird goal, but it's a goal nonetheless. So these pillars are going to make it look a little bit outdented. And they'll make like an 8 shape around the thing, so they'll go all the way to the top. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how this turns out. So anyway, I think that's... Oh, wait, it needs to be one more Tetris shape. I guess we'll do it here. So, I guess we'll go for the L shape. Just above the door. Yeah, nice little L shape over here. And that's going to be wonderful. So, anyway, yeah, while we place the rest of these, because it's now just a matter of getting a lot of acacia wood, placing it, etc., I wanted to talk about game theory. Game theory is one of my favourite branches of mathematics, and I guess to some extent it's science. I don't know if you'd call it science, but anyway, it's one of my favourite things, because one, it's got game in the name, and that sentence rhymed, which makes it even cooler, but more importantly, and actually true, is the fact that it can describe a lot of the situations where humans just seem so illogical. Because as humans, we, as the race that I'm talking about, we like to believe that we're very, very logical, right? Because, we look at cats, like there's just one sitting on a PS4 right now. What's she doing on there? That's Cookie, by the way. What's she doing sitting on a PS4? That can't even be comfortable. But nope, she's going to sit there anyway, because she's a cat, they're not logical. You might be like, oh, look how much smarter we are than cats. We must be the most logical race on the planet. But the truth is, it's not entirely that way. Like, the truth is, we're not actually that logical compared to, there's no real measure of true logic, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, by the way, just so we know the top. There's no true measure of, logic, but we can say that humans make a lot of illogical decisions. And the biggest example of this, and game theory as a whole, is think about the prisoner's dilemma. So the prisoner's dilemma is a really popular dilemma that basically, exemplifies why game theory is a thing. Because, okay, so think about you and a friend have both been sent to jail, not to prison, because basically they caught you doing some serious crime. They caught you there, but they couldn't prove you did the crime. So they can lock you up for a minor offence, which will send you both to prison for a year, but they take you both aside. They don't let you communicate with each other after this point, and they say to you privately, okay, I'm going to be honest with you here, we can't convict you for the full crime, we can only send you to prison for a year, but if you, if you tell on the other person, if you testify against them, then we'll send them to prison for 5 years, because they'll have committed the crime, but we'll give you a plea deal where you get off for 0. So, that means instead of you both serving 1 year, he serves 5 and you serve none. And then they also give the offer of okay, well, he might do the same to you if you don't tell, so that's why you should be careful on that. And then there's also, so basically you could go to prison for 5 years, he'd go for none, or you could go to prison for no years, he'd go for 5. And then finally, if you both tell on each other, they can get you both for crime. You'll get slightly lighter sentences than it's just one of you, and you'll both go for 4 years each. So looking at this situation, from a humanity point of view, it's yeah, obviously you both just don't tell, and then you both go to prison for a year, but that way it's the least bad situation for both of you. However, because humans are, 1, selfish actors, and 2, acting on, just the information we have available, every single time this is tested, people will always pick the outcome, which is, basically they'll tell each other if they don't know each other too well. Because if you can't tell what the other person's going to do, you have to basically tell them. Because the reason for this is, even though it's the worst result for both of you to both tell on each other, it's better for both of you to tell on each other than it is for him to tell on you and for you not to say anything. And the result of that, and the fact that your outcomes, if you say nothing and he says, basically your outcomes are always improved by you pressing still, even though the outcomes for the group and therefore your actual outcome is always going down. Also, we came back too early, so I guess we could patch in this wall a little bit. I mean, we have some dark oak planks lying around. Might as well, right? Okay, now let's go. There we go. And so yeah, that's the best example of game theory, because the prisoner's dilemma. It's a pretty popular one. You've probably heard of it already, but if you haven't, there you go. Anyway, so where this gets interesting, because there's a bunch of different like game theory things, is when it comes to a lot of other games. So a few of my favorite examples I'll go through later, but the big one that you can actually relate to like human behavior and stuff is think about war, right? So war back in the day, not so much anymore for nuclear reasons. I actually want to talk about nukes a little bit, but yeah, basically war back in the day used to be a matter of like you had to trust your neighbors not to invade you, to not want to invade them, if that makes sense. So it was kind of like this same prisoner's dilemma thing, because if both of you stayed at peace with each other, you'd both have more prosperous kingdoms, or yeah, like kingdoms, why not? Well, this is fancy world. And yeah, you'd have more prosperous kingdoms. You'd both be better off. But if you invade him, if he invades you and you don't have like war ready, then he's gonna take over your own thing entirely, and it's gonna be the worst thing possible for you. So let's say you're both doing way better off if you're both at peace. If he invades you, he's doing better off than if he just stays at peace. And if you invade him and he stays at peace, then obviously you're going to be better off altogether. So that means in this situation, even though it's worse for you both to stay at war with each other, a lot of countries will go to war because they realize, oh, well, if we don't, then it will just lead out worse for us. And stuff like that is a very real thing. And it's funny to me, this example, it's the same thing, but, with war and peace instead of, like, telling on your friend or not telling on your friend. It's funny to me because this actually is the reason that it sounds terrible, and I know nuclear warfare is almost a depressing topic, but because of nukes and nuclear weapons, whatever you want to call them, the ability to destroy the planet and another country, basically, because there's like 7 countries that have the ability at a press of a button to just destroy the world. I mean, again, not to be depressing about it, but as you're watching this video, 8 minutes from now, the UK could be destroyed. Could just be like, oh, China decided, we really don't like this statement the UK made about us, we'll hit the button. Obviously that's not going to happen, but it could happen. As a result of this, because humans are illogical, the biggest bringer of peace in the last 100 years is probably nuclear weapons, the ability to destroy each other, because the dilemma of war or peace, where it's like we'll both be better off at peace, but it's better for me to it's better for one of us not to be at war. The situation of being able to destroy the entire planet means that if you kind of do the same thing to them, for a fact that they can launch back. Every country has a way to launch back, which means because everybody knows exactly what will happen, that means it's better to stay at peace. I mean, it's funny the way that works, but it actually is the thing. And what's really interesting to me is I was researching. Oh, I should have made some windows up there. I can do those later. So let's make some internal stairs, and then we'll do that. But I was researching this because everyone's heard of the US nuclear codes, right? Like I got really curious one day as to what actually are nuclear codes? Is there a password that I can find out, and then if someone does hack into it or something, then they'll just launch weapons? Because that sounds like an awfully insecure little system. And obviously if you actually look it up, then the result isn't it isn't just as simple as there's the password hunter2 that if you type into gov.uk or gov.us.com or whatever it's called, the US government website, then they launch nuclear weapons. It actually isn't that simple. But the ability for every country to launch nuclear weapons no matter what is actually a key part of how it works. Although no country wants to launch nuclear weapons, it's funny that every country has to but every country has to show that they're able to if you nuke them, because then that makes the dilemma of if we take them out, then there's less worry. But it changed the dilemma into if we take them out, we'll be taken out ourselves. And again, I think this is really cool because of the fact that every single country's one is really unique and kind of cool. So the US, they have that nuclear code thing, which it's not a code, unfortunately. I really was hoping it would be. I was hoping I could, not that I was going to, but, I was hoping there'd be a literal code that, Obama has to remember, or whoever the next president has to be, just remembers. Because, I don't know, there's something so bizarrely insecure about that makes me go, oh, that's funny. But the truth is, every single day they give him a card, and on that card there are codes that authorize he is the president. I don't know how they guarantee they get the card for him, because there's always the problem. Okay, so this is like a follow-on from the password episode. There's always the problem of trying to, so imagine, there's two people. If you want to send a message, but someone can hear that message. How do you send a message to the other person without the person in the middle hearing and understanding? So if you send a coded message that you both understand, then it's fine. But how do you tell them the code? You can't, and that's the whole thing there. Anyway, that's the Byzantine general problem or something like that. That's relevant for today. What is more relevant is basically the nuclear wing of America is Obama has a briefcase full of codes and stuff. That's kind of interesting, I guess. But the way more interesting one to me is the UK and the US system and the Russian system, because in the UK we have something called a letter of last resort, and basically our nuclear submarines, because we have several of them. They're called Trident, I think. But we have a bunch of nuclear submarines that sit somewhere in Scotland for some reason. They just sit there all day. There's always one on duty doing something or other. And yeah, basically the submarines sit there, and every now and then they check to see if nuclear war has happened. Again, it sounds ridiculous, but they'll surface. They're like, is Radio 4 live? That's generally what they do. And, they do a bunch of other checks. And if they conclude that, like humanity of the UK has been attacked by like nuclear weapons, they basically have this procedure where they have to like turn some keys, do some crazy stuff, and they have to open like a letter which the Prime Minister wrote when he first gets in. So our equivalent for president for those of you outside the UK, or not really, but kind of. But yeah, so when the Prime Minister first gets in, he has to write these letters to these guys. It's called a letter of last resort. And it's like really, really creepy that like, he's dead by the time they read this because they have to try and contact him first. But then what they do is they open the letter. Whatever it says in the letter, they do. If it says strike back, they strike back. If it says go join another country's military, because obviously there's no UK left, they'll do that. And there's something like kind of chilling about all these measures because like every single country is like prepared for this eventuality they know shouldn't happen, but we will have to prepare for anyway. Like we all know it will destroy the planet, and the only reason that we've actually been able to stay safe is because we all know that, and we've been pretty good at that. And again, it's just really weird to me, and that's the thing behind game theory. It shows us why, as humans, we're illogical, and maybe we should just give everyone on the planet like this was an idea I used to have when I was younger, and it's kind of terrible. I was just like, okay, so here's how we make the world fair. We just give every single country on the planet nuclear weapons, and then everyone has a button they can press to destroy the world. No more wars. And obviously, I think there might be a country that maybe pressed it to try out something. So definitely don't do that. Anyway, key point I want to finish on with game theory is pretty cool in my opinion. I've done this roof one block too low, so I need to have like slabs on top now instead, because otherwise I'll have a super low roof. But that can be arranged. So let's place a crafting table here, and then we're going to make a bunch of acacia slabs. And it'll look okay, I think, because as long as it's not like a full block tool and everything else, then it'll be just about fine, maybe. That's the hope, anyway. I know I'm instilling everyone with confidence. But yeah, so another thing about with game theory is there's a bunch of like cool examples of it that maybe go, that's cool. And you can also use it to work out how games work, because if you look at any video game, and then you look at the video game played casually, so if you look at Call of Duty, or Hearthstone, or any strategy-based game, the way the strategy works is everybody knows, when you're playing online, everyone's just playing the best strategy, right? So in Call of Duty, everyone's using the best gun. In Hearthstone, everyone's going to play the best decks. But when the really cool thing is when it comes to playing against people that you know are good at the game, because then game theory applies, and stuff like, this is why I think it's really cool, because stuff like in video games, again, like in Hearthstone, people play the bad cards because nobody expects the bad cards, and then you've got to therefore expect bad cards that no one's expecting, and like, the levels of how deep this goes are really cool. And another one, okay, more simple one, if you don't play all these other games I just mentioned, is, think about rock, paper, scissors, right? So, rock, paper, scissors, it seems like it's a random game, like, you both pick a random option, and it goes that way. But there are actually ways to be good at rock, paper, scissors, and they kind of involve knowing the theory behind it. So, the theory behind rock, paper, scissors is that, even though they're all 1/3 chance to be picked, because rock is the easiest action to pick, because most people go 1, 2, and 3, and, they keep it as a fist, it means that, actually, the best option to pick in theory is paper, but because you basically have to know how like knowledgeable the other person is, because paper is a pretty solid option, right? But if they know about that, which I think most people do now, the best option is therefore scissors, and it goes so on and so forth like that. But I think there's actually a strategy. It's got like a 56% win rate, where what you have to do, like, which in a 50-50 game is good, where basically what you have to do is you kind of like can see what they're going to do before you can do it, and there's a bunch of weird things you can do with rock, paper, scissors, where you kind of like play around with it, and that is a result of game theory. Even the random game, we can tilt in our favors, and also, I don't think I can chop down this tree. I've been trying for quite some time, but I just don't think it's working. And yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool. That's game theory right there. Let's get back into actually talking about the house, because we need to do a little bit of work to it. You might have noticed that we've got a very big orange blob that I don't know why it doesn't look as good as it does in my dreams. I guess maybe we should have a bar along the top there, and if we put some windows in. Yeah, wait, Let's not give up on it yet. So, first of all, let's make some more windows, because windows make the world look better. Or at the very least, this whole thing. So we'll have a window just here. That gives us some planks back too. Very handily. Oh, that doesn't work at all. I guess we'll have the window down here then. So then we'll have a bar up there. And then this one, I think we'll go for the long piece of Tetris, because then we've got, not all 4, but most of the 4. So 3, and then the 4th one can be, I guess we'll have it over here, because they're... Oh, and then we have to make sure there's something there. And then, boom, we've got ourselves 4 tetramino... Are they called tetraminos? We've got 4 Tetris shapes on the front of the house, and once we... There was something weird. I need to make a bar along the top here. And then it's got the indent thing that should make it look a little bit better. And then finally, if we get the roof properly done, because we need a few more of these slabs. I'm curious to see how this will look at the end, because, you know, like I said, when it comes to bad building, it's not as simple as just make something that's bad. You gotta really try sometimes. And I'm hoping my efforts have paid off. I'm hoping we get something that's not easily criticizable, but that is easily seen as bad. That's the dream. And it sounds like a bizarre dream. I know, you know, most people when they play Minecraft aren't focused on let's do this weird thing, but that's apparently my goal for today. So as long as it looks like there's a roof on the top, that'll make me happy enough for now. So just place the blocks there. And, oh, actually, we actually have enough to finish the whole roof. At least finish in big air quotes. So this is a mostly finished house, minus some windows. Actually, yeah, I want to have a window 1 back here, so I can see... yeah, I'll just have a single window there, and then I'll have a bigger window over here. Just, you know, a bunch of windows. Windows are useful. Probably it's going to suck while there's no glass in them. But yeah, let's look at the house now, and let's see what we've got done. Okay, so given that this doesn't have a glass in there yet, and we're going to put the glass in later... I don't think this looks so bad. I think that being so close to the roof probably needs to be lowered a block, even though it makes no sense to lower it a block. But I think we need to... Yeah, we can't do that. That needs to be lowered a block for sure. And then once we do that, I think we've got like a... Yeah, that's off-center too. Like, ooh. I think we need to widen that, even though it doesn't make it a tetramino anymore. Oh, wait. We'll go for the Z shape. That's what we'll do. Because that way it'll be across the thing. So, if we make a few changes, I reckon we've got the dream... anti-dream house. The anti-dream... What? Oh, the nightmare house. Although, no one ever goes like, oh, this is a nightmare I'm looking forward to. Although I think nightmares can be fun sometimes. Like, obviously, nightmares are pretty terrible, like 99% of the time. But every now and then, like, you know, a nightmare turns into something great. It's like, can't see the good without the bad, the yin and the yang or something. Anyway. Oh, actually, you know, since we're just going to be destroying a few blocks, every now and then I have, like, dreams, and I think this... might be... I think this is a common thing, but it seems like it's a really important thing for me. Every now and then I have dreams where, like, I really just solid... I wake up and I'm just like, oh, I miss those people in that dream. And I wonder why we as humans can make up people that we get attached to, because it seems weird when you say it like that, right? Like, also, this looks horrendous. We need to go the other way. That's what we need to do. Actually, do we? Yeah, we do. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's remove this block. Place one there. Remove that one. So I think it looks better, but not good, and that looks not very good either. I think this being the roof block is kind of a limiting factor. Oh, let me destroy the bottom half slab without the top one. That's lovely. So yeah, here is our house for now. I think it needs a little bit of work, but at the same time, because we're going for weird and potentially bad, it's not so bad. We have a lake on the bottom floor, so we can go swimming at any time we want. Which actually, I should probably put like a pressure plate here or something. And I you know, in general, the house is going pretty good so far. I like it. This reminds me, everything in Minecraft is terrible. I want to go destroy a hole in the ground, or like I want to go burn everything. And that's the thing I want to have. So next episode, maybe we'll burn a birch forest. But more seriously, what I think we'll be doing is we'll be working on making a city, because. You know, so far, you know, I've mentioned some of my big ideas I want for this world, and a lot of the ones, or one of the ones that really stuck out to me from the comments, was I mentioned how I really loved cities in one of the Let's Play episodes, and people were like, you need to build a city toy cat, and I thought, yeah, I'd love to build a city, because a lot of the weird intrinsicness of the city, I just really love, and I thought, yeah, we'd actually build something that would be, I don't want to say lifelike, because that's too big a commitment, but yeah, I could actually build something kind of city-like, or at least city-esque, and that's going to be here. So, that's going to be my house over there. I think from the distance, that house looks slightly better. I mean, no, it doesn't. It looks worse somehow, actually. But yeah, also, one more thing before we go. There is a mob spawner somewhere around here that I found in some background gameplay. Like, just while I was doing something else. So yeah, I will be turning that into an XP farm at some point. Because I've never actually made... Or I have made an XP farm, but I've never made a truly efficient XP farm since they made the mobs better. So I'll have to give that a try at some point. Anyway, hope you did all enjoy this episode, or hopefully you anti-enjoyed it so much that you enjoyed it again. You know, went all the way around the wheel. And if you did, I'd really appreciate a like on the video. I mentioned that at the start and the end because I know a lot of people are like, no, you don't deserve it yet. But hopefully, if you are that sort of person at the start, maybe it has yet. And otherwise, share the video if you really liked it, because it's the best way to get the series out there. Check out the series playlist if you haven't already. Actually, I don't think it has a playlist. So check out the imaginary playlist which is scrolling through the channel trying to find the other episodes. And if you want to see more like this, it'll be here next Monday. There will be a Let's Play week, and I think it's going to be in 2 weeks' time. But anyway, that's enough words for today. Hope you did all enjoy it, and I'll see you. It's such a bad house. I don't know how it gets worse at all the different angles I sit. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!